Today was efficient. I got a hold of the Adult Red Dragon Tyrant today, and we're going to do a quick paint job. I'm going to open this box. I'm going to prime him. Should set pretty fast. It's pretty warm today, and we'll give him a good dry brush paint job. Let's do it. Well, after I got him open, it's definitely not going to be as cut and dry as I was hoping. We got a lot of gaps we need to fill. He's got a really gnarly one right here on his head. So we're going to fill all these gaps and let the Tamiya set before we get him all primed up. One thing I did think that was unique about this was he's actually got connection points into his mount. It comes with a clear mount, but it's actually got like little connection points. So it's kind of cool that it actually comes off of the base. So let's get to Tamiya. Let's see, go ahead and see if there's anything under here. Yeah, look at that ugly connection point. Let's get them all Tamiya'd up. Oh. Yeah, and a lot of sanding. Got a lot of mold lines, a lot of straight lines on like the wings and especially on the border edges. I got a majority of them, and like I said, we filled in all these gaps. The gaps are pretty radical there on the shoulder areas and on the top of the head, and we got those thin enough to fill the gaps, thick enough to fill the gaps, but thin enough to not really obscure any details. I typically actually still prime these anyway, because like you typically need to sand them for lines, especially with this dragon. I plan on dry brushing him so any mold lines will stick out. Let's get them all primed up and we'll come back. All right, now we got him all primed up. He's looking good. We got pretty much 100% coverage. A little paint on me. But yeah, he's looking pretty good. Let's get to painting. All right, so to start it off here, we're gonna go with two colors. We're gonna go with burnt red and bold, whatever that word is, red. These two colors together work out really well, and we are going to pretty much do this in a dry brush method. I have a slightly obscure brush that I like to use. Let me actually get that brush wet. Just damp, not wet. Paper towel. Get it nice and clean, and we're going to start off with this red. And let's go ahead and start. We'll just start right at the top. Gonna go a little heavy on the dark red, and then we'll go super light on the bright red, at least to start off. Mainly right now we're wanting to pick up all the details. A bonus if I could stay away from like the claws and stuff and leave them the color that they are currently. We're just going real fast here, nothing special. Black prime on purpose to get this, achieve this look here. It goes on, this burnt red goes on pretty bright, and then it really dry. When it dries, it really darkens. I like it almost to a flesh tone. Go ahead and hit up this other wing. Let's start right up front with this brightness that we got here. I'm gonna go ahead and do some magic editing, and you can kind of see what we're going for here, and we're gonna go ahead and jump to when this step is basically done. All right, now we're pretty much done with the dark red, or I'm sorry, the burnt red is on there. It's actually a little bit more of a fleshy color in person. It's looks a little bit more vibrant on camera, in my opinion. But yeah, overall it is looking pretty good right now. Can always go back and do some touch-ups on some certain points. But now we're gonna hit that red, that super bright red. I'm not gonna clean my brush on purpose. We're gonna just take a little bit at a time. We're really not gonna do much of a dry brush action. We're gonna pretty much do it on the model. So we're gonna hit these high points. Maybe just to see how this red's gonna react. Let's dab a little bit first. Yep. Okay. I'm cool with it. Let's dab a little bit more. Only really hitting the high points. All right, I do believe I am finally happy with this red. We're going to now go to the underbelly. I'm gonna let this dry a bit longer. Ooh, I punched the camera. I'm gonna let this dry a little bit longer before I can flip it over without worrying about paint like tacking away, because I'm hitting some high points on the wings here and losing some paint. So we're gonna do some fine detailing on the belly, kind of give it like a tan color, and we're gonna go from there. So far, so good. All right, we got coat 1 done on the belly. So it's kind of on the throat there, all the way down to the tail. I hit it in a couple more places. Probably hit it with a wash, really bring it down. And we're gonna do some other highlights, probably elsewhere, like on the back of the legs and stuff like that, here in a moment. All right, so we got him done with the khaki belly, and then we put a wash over that to kind of gray it out on purpose. I also put in a little bit on all these points right here. The wash is still a little wet at this point, but it's just kind of to balance it out. Let's see what's it look like on top right now. Yep, kind of the same concept going still there. I did find, and I didn't even know I had this color, I actually had to take the seal off of it. Where'd it go? From Adepticon last year's paint set, Bright Shadow Flesh, and that is what I used in the mouth. I'm gonna have a terrible time trying to get an angle here. There we go. And that's what I used in the mouth. Went and did his teeth with the same tan just to kind of get a good base coat started now, and then we'll build that up here momentarily. Let's keep going. All right, now that is all done, we're going to move on to some satin black. We're going to move on to some satin black. It kind of gives it a little bit of a shine, and it's a nice strong black. Let's do it. This satin black, we're going to be going into detail finally, and so we're going to paint all these spines and do some highlights, things like the rivets, bumps, whatever you want to call these things, on his arms and wings and stuff like that, all these little spines. And we're going to paint these all the satin black. One. All right, we'll be back. And put some on it. Kind of try to blend it in as much as possible. Adding a little bit more black everywhere and we did put a wash in the mouth also. Probably not gonna be able to pick that up from right here. We're hitting some of these high points on the wings. So far, so good. I think we're almost done. All right, just a lot of touch-ups. Try to bring back some of the bright reds into it. Probably going to attack it a little bit more and some high points. Bright red just to pump it back up to make some contrast. I really like how this underbelly part came out, highlighting the arms and the hands. So like the bottom of them are tan and the top of them are black. So that kind of goes through even out to these tips, the hands, and the underbelly. Let's keep it going. So we've started and completed doing some shadowing on the wings here. Well, not really shadowing, but the blackening of the wings. We've also added some more black detail to the back here. I've done all of the fins, the satin black, and then the super bright red to make them pop even more. I'm probably gonna hit. I did the eyes also, or yeah, you can kind of see in there. I did that with the fluorescent red from Monument Hobbies also. We'll see how it goes. Next step is going to be, let's see, there are some spots on here that are supposed to be like super bright red, and we're going to hit those. All right, so I will call this complete. So we use some mostly on this, we have used this bold, right? And the burnt red and the satin black. For the mouth and tongue, I used primarily, what do I got? There it is. I used the bright shadow flesh, which took the flesh wash. So we added a lot more black to it in general. I went more with this like fleshy tone that I enjoyed, and I kind of played with it and thinking like, so technically in a dragon, like these are his hands and he's got really long fingers. If you really think about it, he's a six-legged creature. And so these are like his fingertips. So I kept it the same hand as his hands. And I went a little bit further up in the tail with the red, kind of blending that out. The satin black versus regular black actually made some of these points pop out really nicely. Like this right here is a good detail where it's picking up the light with the satin black. I did satin black all right here in the super dark areas on his back, and then we went back over with the bold red on some particular scales and some areas that we wanted to highlight. One of my favorite parts of this was the tail portion, was doing up the higher scales with the red and emphasizing the fin with the satin black spikes with the red fins right here, and it came out really well. And then just the eye, I base coated. I actually don't base coat generally with white when I'm trying to make something brighter. I actually base coated with ivory on the eyes, and I also use the ivory on the teeth, and then his eyeball is the fluorescent red. I enjoy the fluorescent line, and it's for moments exactly like this. It just makes small things pop. If I would have just used regular red, it would have been a little bit different, but you can definitely tell that is a different kind of red, and it doesn't quite come out like a pink or anything like that. All right. Yep. I'm really happy with how this came out. I haven't sealed it yet or anything like that. I haven't glued him to his base. He's just really just sitting there on the base right now. These colors, I impressed myself with this one. mostly dry brushing, with some detail painting on top of it. But how it came out, it looks amazing. I really, really like the black with the red extra pop, like on the little scales. And we got like just how it came out. Really, really, really happy with how it came out. We'll do a little bit more of a showcase. You can definitely find it on the social medias, probably in the next day or two. But YouTube thinks you'll like this video right here, and if you'd like to subscribe, click this button right here. And as always, every stroke of the brush and swing of the blade adds character to your miniature.